Hello, Wastelanders of YouTube. I'm Parker Peters, and much like many of you, for the past week I have been doing nothing but playing Fallout 4, Bethesda's new blockbuster post-nuclear adventure. Does Fallout 4 bomb, or does Bethesda's second son crawl out through the fallout and manage to be Game of the Year? Well, find out right now in my review of Fallout 4. Enjoy. As is tradition in my reviews, why don't we start off with the graphics. Fallout 4 is, in a word, ugly. It is ugly as sin. Now, it's not the ugliest game that's ever been released, but when compared to other recent titles such as Metal Gear Solid 4, The Witcher 3, and Dragon Age Inquisition, it just doesn't stack up. It is an outright turd. This is because of the aging engine it is built on, which is an upgraded version of the Gamebryo engine, called the Creation Engine, which is just the Gamebryo engine with a couple new bells and whistles added, like volumetric lighting and real-time shadows. Basically the engine that Morrowind, Oblivion, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and Skyrim all ran on. And among other things, the engine does not seem to support cloth physics, hair physics, or any type of soft body physics at all, which can all be seen in Metal Gear Solid, in The Witcher, and in Dragon Age, which I feel are the three games that are going to be compared most to Fallout, since they are the most recent open-world RPGs we've seen. I guess Metal Gear really isn't an RPG, but that's neither here nor there, is it? Furthermore, the textures in-game are all sort of a muddy, low-resolution mess. Absolutely abysmal, and they suffer from texture pop-in, the likes of which we haven't seen since Rage, which, incidentally enough, was also published by Bethesda or ZeniMax Media, one of the two. Now, the new lighting systems added in are nice, a rare touch of modern gaming in an otherwise dated-looking title. But they are so taxing on the game engine, on Gamebryo, on the Creation Engine, that they can make your system chug. Now, on my PC, I am able to run the game on high settings with very few problems, but on the Xbox One and the PS4, these lighting systems have caused quite a bit of trouble. And I have noticed a marked improvement in performance on my PC when I turn off God rays, which is a fancy way of saying dynamic volumetric lighting. This is something that a modern engine would do fairly simply that Gamebryo just doesn't seem up to the task for, which is a shame, because the art style in the game is fantastic. The world is very artfully designed in the same post-apocalyptic Eames era that we have grown to know and love, but it all just seems like a waste when we have a modern marvel like the Fox engine to look at, which runs games not only more beautifully, but also more well optimized. So all in all, Fallout 4, from a visual standpoint, is fairly disappointing, and downright ugly in my opinion. There's no soft way to say that. The game is just ugly. Next, let's take a look, or rather a listen, to the audio of Fallout 4. On a positive note, the music in the game is absolutely fantastic. It's never been better. With music from Billie Holiday, the Andrews Sisters, the Ink Spots, and Bing Crosby, your Pip-Boys radio will have you crooning through the wasteland like you never have before. I love the music in Fallout 4. The sound effects are also done fairly ably. Everything sounds nice and crisp and how it should. The footsteps of your dog, for instance, are very distinct from the footsteps of a raider, and you should be able to tell the difference. The surround sound audio is done well, and the sound effects don't hinder your gameplay at all, which is always a good thing. This, however, is where the praise for Fallout 4's audio ends. The voiceovers in the game are terrible. Absolutely abysmal.
What brought you out here?
My baby Sean's been kidnapped. He's not even a year old.
That's messed up. I'm sorry.
Bethesda isn't really known for Oscar-winning performances, that is, outside of Terrence Stamp's fantastic work in The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion. If you haven't played that game, and if you don't know who Terrence Stamp is, look him up and play it, because they're both fantastic. Terrence Stamp was Zod in Superman 2. But the voiceover work in Fallout 4 is a far cry from Terrence Stamp's performance in Oblivion. I would say it is outright laughable. Some of the background characters and unimportant NPCs are voiced fairly competently, but the main cast, most notably the main cast of the Minutemen, sound like they were voiced by high school drama kids. Sound like they just stepped out of Tommy Wiseau's The Room. Absolutely dreadful. At least the mixing of the voiceovers is done well. So if anything positive is to be pulled from the audio of Fallout 4, I would say it is the music, because everything else about the audio is either boring to bad. How about that gameplay, though? Gameplay, that's why we play games, right? That's why they're called games, because they got gameplay. Well, Fallout 4 could be seen as very good or very bad, depending on your taste. By that, I mean I hesitate to call Fallout 4 an RPG at all. It has fairly obviously and purposefully, in my eyes, stepped into the world of the action shooter and lost most of its RPG trappings. No more karma system, no more complex class builds, and the very few dialogue choices make the game feel more like a Grand Theft Auto or a Metal Gear Solid 5. That is sad news for the RPG fan, but as an action game, Fallout 4 actually excels. The shooting feels very slick, VATS feel better than ever, more of a bullet time now than an actual freeze frame, and the infinitely customizable weapons make it all the more satisfying to build your dream gun and go out and pop some raiders in the head. And for the first time ever, much to my pleasure, Bethesda has actually made third-person view playable. I am actually enjoying playing this game through in third person, which is not something I was able to do in Skyrim or any of Bethesda's previous games. I like third-person games, some people like first-person games. Fallout 4 is the best of both worlds in this regard. This is all great news for the action game fan, as Fallout 4 plays just like a fast-shooting, hard-punching, post-apocalyptic thriller. There is one RPG element, however, that shines better in Fallout 4 than in any previous incarnation, and that is the character creator. I could go on for hours about how great the character creator is, but rather than do that, I made a little video about it. You can click this link right here and check that out if you want to. But in short, Fallout 4's character creator is better than any character creator in any game, period. They really pulled out all the stops on this one, and I have to say, bravo Bethesda. I very rarely say that. And on top of that fantastic character creator, they also recorded 1,000+ names for an in-game NPC Cogsworth to say. Unfortunately, it does seem like Codsworth the robot is the only NPC that knows your name, but still, that's a lot cooler than other games have done.
Miss Fuckface, Sean has been changed, but he absolutely refuses to calm down. Listen, boobies, I do so enjoy serving this family.
So to sum up gameplay, Fallout 4 is a very fun action game, which has become regretfully light on RPG elements, which for some of the die-hard Fallout fans might be a deal breaker. The story of Fallout 4 is one of the worst aspects of the game. Without any spoilers, let's just say that the story is somewhat like Terminator meets Star Wars, but without any of the good stuff. Instead of being a great Oscar-winning story, it is poorly written, shoehorned, heavy-handed, and that's all I have to say about that. The story is oddly forced for what is supposed to be an RPG, but like I've already said, Fallout 4 doesn't really feel like an RPG, so I guess that's kind of a moot point, isn't it? The story is probably the biggest blemish on the game, and it is Bethesda's worst writing to date. But enough about that. Is the game fun? And I have to say that yes. Yes, it is a fun game. I have played it quite a bit. I warned you all to not pre-order it, but I ended up pre-ordering it in the end from Steam. I don't know if you'd call that pre-ordering. I pre-purchased it, preloaded it, and I have played the hell out of it. It is a very fun game. I feel like I can look past the bad graphics and horrible story to see the fun and addicting action mechanics that lie under the cancers of bad graphics and poor writing. But I'm going to have to say that if you are an action game fan or an RPG fan, I would hold off on buying Fallout 4, to be honest. I would say try it if you can, but if not, hold out until it is maybe $40. Feels like an unfinished game to me, and we shouldn't reward Bethesda for not finishing their game. Buy the game when it's on sale, and trust me, you will feel much better about your purchase. I've been Parker Peters, and this has been my review of Fallout 4. If you enjoyed this review, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the Wasteland. Good night.